Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cinema Savvy, and I am joining you fresh and excited from the first screening of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the sequel to the Tim Burton 80s film. Wow. I've just come back all the way from London from the press screening that was in Cineworld Leicester Square. And I am overwhelmed by this film. I really want to talk about it. So I'll get into my initial thoughts and reactions and everything like that. But first of all, I have to put this on. Once you've seen this film, please comment down below. Tell me what you think about it. Because I'm really intrigued to see, fans of the original, people who are just casual Tim Burton fans, or people who have never watched a Tim Burton film in their life, who have seen this film and want to give their thoughts on it as well. And let's create a discussion over it. And of course, also, please go and follow us on our socials, where you'll find out about all of our videos coming out and various different things. Let's get straight into the meat of this, because I know that people are excited to hear my initial thoughts on the film. Now, as far as the original film is concerned, I've seen the film twice now. I'm not a massive fan of the original Beetlejuice. I think there are better Tim Burton films out there. I think he's still trying to find his footing at this point when he directed this, and there are some interesting quirky elements which he uses throughout all of his films, and this is kind of where that quirkiness started. But with this film, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, he is not only able to nail things that people liked from the original, but he's able to make this film into its own thing entirely. This film is funnier. This film has more action beats. This film has a lot more going on and a lot more plot to deal with. We have the original cast back, so we have Michael Keaton, we have Winona Ryder, we have Catherine O'Hara. We're also joined by, I guess, Tim Burton's new favourite person in the world, Jenna Ortega. We're joined by Willem Dafoe. We're joined by Justin Theroux. It's a great cast, and there are more surprises thrown into the film as well, of various different cameos that pop up that people might be excited for. One thing I thought was going to happen coming into this film was, with a lot of sequels that have been coming out recently, which have come from previous years, there's been a lot of sequel baiting and, a lot of, nostalgia coming through. This film seems to avoid that. Like, there are some things where they'll bring elements through from the original film, some callbacks to the original film, but it doesn't feel like it hasn't been earned. It feels fresh, and it feels like the universe hasn't been, trudged back over again. It feels like it's been extended. It feels like we've got more insight into the afterlife, more insight into, the quirkiness of the characters and how their lives have been since the first film. It's a brilliant kind of extension onto what was originally there in the first place. Let's talk about different things. So Tim Burton as a director, to start off with, this is a Tim Burton film. This is a very modern Tim Burton film as well. You've got all of those kind of, quirky little, Tim Burtonisms that come through the film, the eerie aesthetics, the characters with, witty dialogue that, is very morbid and everything like that, and just the tone that's set in the first place, the use of different animation styles like claymations thrown in there. We have the sandworm back at one point. I know that's on the poster. I know people are going to be excited about that. But there is just so much of Tim Burton in this film that people will love if you love him as a director, that you'll go back and you go, yeah, you can immediately identify it as that kind of film. And do you know what? He's back with his favorite composer as well. I mean, it's just a marriage in heaven, isn't it? You can't have one without the other, and it's a beautiful, just the original score coming back through in the film. It just marries so well. It just works absolutely so well, and I'm so happy that relationship has continued over the years. Throughout all of his films, he seems to be right there by his side. So, having Danny Elfman come back and, add some little additions to the score and bring back the original as well, it's just match made in heaven. Let's go on to the cast. So one thing from the original film which stood out to me on both watches of it was that Michael Keaton isn't really in the film much. In this film, Michael Keaton is in the film a lot. and Beetlejuice is a bigger character. And I think that helps this film. The first film had him as this kind of character who's kind of off to the side, is like the devil tempting on a shoulder, and then comes in, causes chaos, and then is out by the end of the film, and caused such an impact that, you know, he's become a kind of pop culture icon because of it. Now we come into this film where they understand that he is a popular character. They understand that they need to have him more in the film. So he does get multiple plot threads in this, whether it's, you know, being chased down by a vengeful spirit, or whether it is trying to cause chaos once again with Lydia. And, you know, it all comes together in the end, and we do get a lot more of Michael Keaton. We get some great one-liners from him. We get some great kind of long sentences from him, and some brilliant kind of visual gags that, you know, Michael Keaton plays into quite heavily as well. Winona Ryder is back as Lydia Deetz, and, you know, she is the girl that, you know, Tim Burton turns to back when Beetlejuice came out. It kind of helped out with the start of her career. I know that there's been a few kind of, you know, people who like, you know, his wife, who he goes to throughout his career, Helena Bonham Carter. But, you know, I always think of Winona Ryder as being the Tim Burton girl from films, and she absolutely fits back into the role as a kind of older, more mature, more world wisely version of her original character. And that helps a lot with the plot, which is basically a kind of mother-daughter relationship, whether that's her with Catherine O'Hara and seeing that relationship now that, you know, they've both grown up, playing Delia Deetz, or with her now daughter, played by Jenna Ortega, Astrid, who has, you know, an interesting journey. I know that she was in Wednesday Addams. That was very, very popular, with Tim Burton helping produce that and directing a few episodes of that. Very, very popular actor kind of nowadays as well. She's fantastic in this film. She is a really, really promising young actress. So go and watch this film if, you know, you want to see a great kind of young performance on screen. Apart from that, we get like a few other side characters who have their own adventures and their own journeys going on. Some of them which I liked, like Willem Dafoe's character, absolutely amazing. Comedic time was absolutely on point with him. Justin Theroux as well. Just, I've not seen him in much, and he was fantastic. Just a brilliantly written character that you kind of love to hate. And then just everything in between. So we get like Monica Bellucci in there. You have Arthur Conti. They're all doing great kind of, you know, side piece roles. Bern Gorman's in there for a bit as well. It's a brilliant ensemble cast. It's a brilliant ensemble film. I do have my problems with it. I feel like, you know, there are some elements of the film which were possibly rushed. There were some elements of the film which, you know, I would have written maybe slightly differently and stuff like that. Some things which went on for a bit too long, but this is a proper popcorn flick, and this is an end of summer popcorn flick. And especially after kind of, you know, the summer of film we've had, and well, really the summer of TV that we've had that's been so expansive and, you know, has, you know, taken over mine and George's life on the channel. It's so nice to just sit down to a 1 hour 40 film that is so easy to watch. And I think this is easier to watch than the first film. There's so much more comedy in this. It really plays up the horror elements as well, but the comedy really shines here. And, you know, that's why I'm giving it a really positive review, because I was expecting nothing from this, especially with some of the sequels we've been getting nowadays to kind of long-standing properties that they're going back after all these years. This film actually works, and it works really well. And, you know, a lot of the people in the screening were having a great laugh about it. They didn't have much beforehand going on with the screening, just a little photo kind of op. And everyone was kind of waiting around, milling around, talking about what they're expecting from the film and everything like that. And a few people had very doom and gloom outlooks for it. A few people really excited. But I think in the end, most people came out of the screening reasonably positive about it. It's not really a film that you can find much to hate about it. It's a comedy, and it works as a comedy. So I think it's going to be really popular. And, you know, I'm glad that they went back to their roles. I'm glad they went back here and Tim Burton went for a sequel. I don't know if there's going to be another film, whether they complete it and have Beetlejuice said 3 times in the title. But, you know, I was happy that I was able to go and do the experience. And, you know, I'd highly recommend people to go and watch this film. and I enjoyed it on first viewing. I may give this a second viewing. That's how much I quite enjoyed the experience. But you know, once you've gone and seen it, once again, would love to hear people's thoughts. Comment below if you've seen it. You know what your thoughts are, what your reactions are, what other people have been saying about the film, because we love to create a discussion on the channel. And also, please go into the description and find us on Linktree. You'll get our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, and our Letterboxd on there. So you can go and follow us on all of those socials. And most of them are /CinemaSavvy. So go and find us on there. Thank you ever so much for watching this very short first reaction and review of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. I won't say it a third time. And we'll see you on the next one.